You're watching The Morning Show here on Global. What you're looking at right now is the U.S. consulate here in Toronto on University Avenue, and some people leaving some teddy bears, some flowers, as a way just to acknowledge that we here also feel the pain that they're feeling in Newtown, Connecticut. And we asked psychotherapist Nicole McCants to come in today so we could discuss how you talk to your kids about this, and also, even as adults, how when you're seeing this over and over, and you feel so helpless, what can you do? But let's start with children. Mine are 3 and 6. They haven't seen a thing. And I hope they don't. I'd rather them not know anything about it. Is that the wrong way for me to go about this?
No, I think it's the right way. If you have children and they do know, it's very important to normalize their feelings, to normalize to tell them that it's completely normal to feel confused, to feel afraid, to feel angry, right? But if they don't know, I would suggest checking in with them. So if you're aware, if you don't think they know, then maybe just asking, like, how are you feeling? How is your day? You may notice that they might need more affection. As parents, it's important to be more vigilant and really reassuring over the next couple of weeks.
Like Liza, many parents decided not to talk about it, age appropriate. Is there an age when we should talk about it? And also, should we be prepping our kids who go off to school this morning and may hear about it for the first time from friends or, you know?
Developmentally, like, let's say if they're like 10 and asking questions, then it's time to tell them and reassure them. And here's the thing too. Some kids are asking, Mom, am I safe? Dad, am I safe? And the truth is we don't know, right? So it's very important to reassure them, but at the same time, not lying to them. Does that make sense? So maybe letting them know, like, I believe that you are safe, right? And there's certain things that parents can do to be calm, because here's the thing. If you're on edge, your children are like sponges and they pick up on your energy, so they're going to pick up on that. So I would not have the news blaring all the time, right? I would have you being nice and calm, and then they're going to pick up on that as well.
When my grade 1 aged son came home on Friday, I always give him a hug, but I gave him a hug for about 15 minutes, I think. And at some point I could see on his face, he was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening here? Because you just, but like you're saying, you don't want to overwhelm them. You don't want to bring things in that.
Right. However, if you have a child who is nervous and they are aware and they're really nervous, there's something that really works, and it's called a transition object. Now, a lot of child psychologists use this, and what it is you pick an object that's from home that has them feel really safe and cozy. It could be maybe their bedtime stuffed animal, okay? Then you give this to them when they go off to school. So when they're off to school and they're feeling nervous, well, guess what? They have Teddy with them that keeps them cozy and safe. Or if it's not an object, it could be that song that we sing before bed. So if you're nervous, why don't you try singing that song to yourself? So it's almost like they're taking you with them to feel calm.
Nicole, what do you do when your child is old enough to seek out their own information? I mean, I have nieces who are 9, 10, 11, and they're very internet savvy. Do you hold them back and say, okay, we're going to do a blackout on the internet and the TV, and is that too suspicious? Well, how do you balance out what they're seeking out themselves?
I think there's a fine line. You're right, especially with social media. You were speaking about this earlier. We're being bombarded. So I think keeping themselves informed, if they do know, I think it's important to allow them to ask these questions, right? Because they probably know. You see, if they don't feel safe talking to you about it, then they know, and then they're not talking, and then they feel less safe. Does that make sense? Right? So I wouldn't cut everything off, because they're going to, I mean, when we do that, suppress them, usually it comes out in other ways. So being open to have the conversation.
And then that conversation, as you're just talking about, can even turn into a debate if the kids are old enough. Would you agree with that, where it's a discussion, if you will, about the state of
how
the
do you
world,
feel
if you will.
in your school, and what can we do differently? The thing is, this is so out of our control, and when anything is out of our control, it has our anxiety go, skyrocket. So as parents, you might want to call your school and find out the safety protocol there, and then share it with your children.
Right.
So at least you have a sense of, okay, we know what to do if something similar happens.
Though I find one of the big questions that every kid asks about everything is why? Why? Yeah. And so I find that that will be the hard question, as you know, a 6, a 7, and 8-year-old says, but why did this happen? Why would someone do that? Is there any way to answer that question?
Well, I think we don't know why, and that's just the devastation and why we're all so heartbroken. I think it's important as a parent to maybe share your own sadness and that you don't know why, right? Just to share a little bit, because the thing is, I feel kids get bombarded with violence through video games and TV already, so it's important to have those conversations saying, I don't know why, and this is really sad. These are real people that happened, and we don't know why, but there's certain things we can do to keep ourselves safe.
Acknowledge their feelings and be truthful are the two rules I take taking away, and because obviously you don't want to say something that isn't true.
Yes.
And then be caught in a lie.
Exactly.
And then if they know about it, like you're saying, Leslie, you have to acknowledge that. If they do know about it and they are asking you about it, you have to acknowledge it. But if they don't know about it and you feel like you need to protect them from it and they're that age that you feel they need to be protected from it, just keep it away.
So someone, sorry, go ahead.
The key message is to go, like, when you go home tonight, check in with them. You might not want to ask them directly, but indirectly, how are you feeling? How are things? And the thing is, some kids are silent, so they may not be verbal, but you're noticing that they're more silent, and that might be a key.
There's some parents who are probably about to take their kids to school and drop them off. Is there anything we should be doing to prepping them and say, you may hear something today that you maybe make you afraid?
I don't know, though, because then if they don't, they're prepping to almost be afraid. Like, well, what do you mean, right? I would wait to the end of the day. I would give them lots of love today. Work on calming yourself throughout the day. So when they come home, they're coming to a really open arms, loving environment.
Psychotherapist Nicole McCants, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's always good talking to you.